Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes it a little of a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I rob bass, mix it with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes it a little of a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I rob bass, mix it with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Sorbet, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J, Israel. Had no but I lay in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake's still showing up, stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astro plane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life. Finish him.
Morris Lamar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves. Squash my heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis. Niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. DA are feminists. Stomped on by elephants. Won't like no prejudice but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the cold magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book called Maleficent. Great cosmic mothers. Return to blessedness. No pestilence. Ace all the testaments. Tap into remembrance. Never to forget again. Use energy right. Not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no veil of shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions. Too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence. Burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars. It might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Kevin, mix something. That's the your name your mother gave you. Use it. British subject name. You in the political jurisdiction of Canada, correct? Ain't that the Crown territory? Ain't that the name your mother gave you in that territory? That the political occupied dominion of the Crown? Then use it.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quickie. Wait a second. Is this technically a common sense quickie? Let's see. The video is addressing some common sense stuff. Check. But it is addressing specific Moors, which is not really within the realm of a common sense quickie. Well, we actually did a common sense quickie addressing this same Moor when he said nonsense about the Moroccan Empire being gone since the 1800s. That was in Common Sense Quickie number 30, titled Present Moroccan Empire. So far, technically, we are still within the realm of a Common Sense Quickie. Check. Alright, well, what about the length of this video? For a Common Sense Quickie, it has to be 10 minutes or under. Man, just over 14 minutes. Well, looks like we have to pull in audible. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Longing. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try? So, according to the Gregorian calendar, it is the year 2020. And can you believe it? There are Moors that still think the United States of America is America.
You big dummy.
I mean, dang. So, in order to quell this nonsense once and for all, let's take it back to grade 4 geography class.
Hi, boys and girls. Today we will learn basic geography. So first off, let's find America on a map. Do you know what a map is, girls and boys? A map is where you find out where countries and continents are. Sounds exciting, doesn't it? So, boys and girls, do you know what a continent is? Well, a basic description of a continent would be a big piece of land that has many different countries in it. And all the continents in the world begin with the letter A. You have Australia, Asia, Africa, Antarctica, and America. Cool, right? Now, some people say that Europe is a continent, but when I was growing up, it wasn't a continent. So we will not count it as a continent for this lesson. Alright, now here is something really cool, children. When we go to the continent America, it is broken down into 3 parts. You have North America, Central America, and South America. Cool, huh? But when you look at it on a map, you only see North America and South America. Wanna see? So here is a map, and here is North America and South America. And here is North America on a globe. Now let's check another map, just in case something was wrong with the first map. Looks the same to me. And on another globe, it also looks the same. Isn't that awesome? Alright, so let's focus on North America for this lesson. At North America, you have 3 different countries. You have Canada, the United States, and Mexico. So the blue part that you see, that's Canada. And the green part, that's the United States. And the orange part, that's Mexico. Do you understand? Let's do it once again. So the blue part that you see, that's Canada. And the green part, that's the United States. And the orange part, that's Mexico. Simple, isn't it? Let's do it one more time, just to make sure. So the blue part that you see, that's Canada. And the green part, that's the United States. And the orange part, that's Mexico. Got it? Awesome. Hey children, do you want to hear something really funny? There are actually grown-ups that think the United States is America. Isn't that silly? But now that you have seen on a map that America is a continent and not a country. That makes you smarter than those grown-ups, right? Hey, you know what we call those grown-ups?
Big dummy.
Anyway, children, that is your basic grade 4 geography lesson for today. See you next time.
So now that we have sent the children off, let's deal with the Prophet's literature. Interesting how these same Moors that say Canaanland Moors are, quote unquote, Moorish Canadian and not Moorish American, and that, quote, Canaanland Moors want to be American so bad, end quote, are the same Moors always saying that they teach what Prophet Noble Jew Ali brought, and they are for unity. The thing that boggles my mind is that these Moors fail to realize three obvious things. Number one, we all pretty much have the same Circle 7 Quran. Number two, we can all read. And number three, chapter 47 is the same in all Circle 7 Qurans. So, the obvious thing to do is to go to chapter 47 and read what Prophet Noble Jew Ali wrote about our ancestral estate. Chapter 47, section 6 reads, "The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa, they were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes." Section 7. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa across Great Atlantis, even unto the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands, before the Great Earthquake, which caused the Great Atlantic Ocean. So, question number one. If, according to Prophet Noble Jew Ali, our ancestral estate is North, South, and Central America, including Mexico and the Atlantis Island, where does quote-unquote Moorish Canadian come in? Question number two. Was the country, quote-unquote Canada, around from since before the land split and the Atlantic Ocean was created? Now let's take it to the 101 or 102 Quran questions for Moorish Americans, questions number 13 and 14. Question number 13. What is your nationality? Answer, Moorish American. Question number 14. Why are we Moorish Americans? Answer, because we are descendants of Moroccans born in America. So number 13 says our nationality is Moorish American. And number 14 says why we are Moorish American. So please show us where in there does it say anything about Moorish Canadian. Now let's go to numbers 19 through 21. Number 19. What kind of flag is the Moorish? Answer. It is the red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center. Number 20. What do the 5 points represent? Answer: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Number 21. How old is our flag? Answer: it is over 10,000 years old. So if our flag is over 10,000 years old, is the country of quote-unquote Canada 10,000 years old? Even better, is the United States 10,000 years old? Did the present borders of the United States exist 10,000 years ago? Did the present borders of Mexico exist 10,000 years ago? So where are you getting this quote-unquote Moorish Canadian thing from? What the hell are you talking about? You keep saying that you only deal with the Prophet's literature and, quote, you are bringing what Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought, end quote, but we have the same literature and we can read and we know basic geography. So you are blatantly going against chapter 47 in the Circle 7 Quran, and you are blatantly going against the 101 questionnaire when you fabricate this quote-unquote Moorish Canadian nonsense, which also means you are blatantly going against the Prophet. Period. And to the other Moor, or any other Moors for that matter, talking that quote-unquote Moorish Canadian nonsense and talking about we want to be Americans so bad, we suggest you all go back to grade 4 and learn basic geography. America is a continent, not a country. So if we are quote-unquote Moorish Canadian, that would make you quote-unquote Moorish United Statesian, not Moorish American. You all should be smarter than that. I mean, what? Moors are supposed to be navigators, correct? But you all don't know how to read a map? You all don't know the difference between a country and a continent? When the Prophet said North, South, and Central America, he was not speaking about North, South, and Central United States. He was speaking about the continent, as expressed in chapter 47, number 7 of the Circle 7 Quran. Period. You Moors are breaking a lot of sevens with this quote-unquote Moorish Canadian nonsense. You all should be more intelligent than that. So, Canaanland Moors are Moorish Americans. Just like Moors at the United States, and Moors at Mexico, and Moors at the quote-unquote Caribbean islands, just like Moors at Venezuela, just like Moors at Brazil, and Argentina, and Peru, and Paraguay, etc. Period.
You big cold-blooded dummy.
Common sense was made before book sense.
Guess what? Use that name as a British subject and enforce the dang on treaties.
No, because everybody...
I'm not saying that you ain't a Moor. That ain't the point here. You talking about Malik, a.k.a. J. Okay, my mother gave me a name. I'm using it. What's your point?
Because the Grand Sheik, after they watch something on there, to verify some BS that they heard on that channel.
That channel, House of Ram, right?
Because they're confused. Why are they confused? Because these Johnny-come-latelys, these ex-pastors who Noble Drew Ali told you they're going to be the last ones to come in or whatever like that, these same pastor people are using the master teachers, Taj Tariq Bey, and whoever.
People are using Taj Tariq Bey, but you're using him as evidence. Again, you are colored, bro. It's okay. We all didn't know at one time that we're supposed to be like, you know what? Why are we continuing to use America when Morocco has the original jurisdiction? There's 3 statuses in that treaty of 1787: a Moor, an American, and a United States citizen. A Moor is a Moroccan in his own land. An American is a British subject under the crown. The United States citizen is a subject.
An American is a British subject under the crown. Some more out there is telling you that an American is a subject of the crown. That's what they're telling you American is. You know why? Because the big dummy thinks the United States is a country and America is a country. America's two continents. Basic geography. America's not a country. Has absolutely nothing to do with countries. It's two continents. So when we tell you that people are playing you and you're contacting us confused because you can't figure out what Noble Drew Ali brought when this stuff is basic, somebody's playing you. Somebody's playing you. Just like some Moors tried to play a Moor and tell him, nah, you don't need a license. Just be a Moor and go out there and right to travel because you have the right, because the Supreme Court said he's a novice. Why are you sending him out there without a license? Where'd that brilliant idea come from? Probably somebody who wants to sell you a package. And then when the stuff doesn't work, you're going to be kidnapped, so there ain't going to be no issues. He ain't worrying about you. Somebody's going to play you if you're not fact-checking all these people. Every last one of them, including us. But we got 3,000 video receipts. So we got books published. We got so much activity out there that we're the last people that you should be questioning. Question these people who haven't done anything for the past 100 years. Ask any of those Moorish science temples to find you a homeless person that they clothed and a hungry person that they fed. Bet you they can't even pull out something that they did just for the people. Talking crazy. There's no such thing as Kevin McCletchy L. It's an X relation. How incompetent are you? It's an X relation. The name that's on the birth certificate, whether it has L on it, or Bay on it, or Al on it, or Day on it, or Ali on it. It's X relation. You can't be a Muslim and have a European name. This stuff is real simple. You people are making this stuff advanced because they're trying to sell these packages. Right? Why would a Buddhist write a book in a Christian name? How come you never ever saw a Buddhist write a book in a Christian name? But then when more start saying that, oh yeah, well, we're not Christian. No, yes you are. Your name is the name on the birth certificate. No, it's not. Who told you that? Who told you that's my name? If I don't tell you what my name is, you can't tell me that I told you what my name is. You tell me about somebody over there told you, or some paper, or some card or something told you what my name is, you're tripping. And we know that you people like to play embarrassment stuff as if I'm afraid to put out there that I use that name. Why wouldn't I use it? Isn't that the name that they enslaved me with? Isn't that the name that they hid all the reparations in? That they stole? Called as cheating? Including land? Amen Rastafari Metaphysics was the first pamphlet that I wrote that became Nationality is the Order of the Day by Kudro Ado L. Dumbass. Because you think you know something. Wherever you're from. Wherever you're from. You think you know something, but you don't know anything. You're a dumbass. Because one, we always tell these people, just so all the people on the thing know, whoever's watching this, we always tell the trolls and the dirty Moors and the traitors and the everything else to push the invite. Don't talk shit in the chat. We'll tell you where we're at every Sunday. Every Sunday. Bring your questions. Bring your comments. Crickets. When we're live, here they come in the chat. 50 billion stuff to talk about. That makes no sense. That you people who are trying to get this information, because I already got this. I ain't worried about not getting my birthright. I got my birthright. You got yours? If you don't, better stop listening to people in the chat and go study. Because these people have been raping you of your birthright. And then what you should be doing is you should be strangling this individual in the chat right now that's stopping you from your learning. That's like we're in the lecture hall and then the guy in the back keeps farting or whatever, and nobody gets up and throws him out the class for disrupting the class. They sit there giggling. You just paid 50 grand. You just paid 50 grand to go to school or whatever. And guy in the back farting and you're giggling. Instead of strangling him and removing him from where he's not supposed to be. Right? That's not my job. Because as soon as we start blocking people, they're gonna go snitch to IG and then shut down our IG. And say that we're bullying them. But they're going to be in our chat talking crazy and making up stuff and lying and putting our name in their videos as clickbait and all that. And then as soon as we say something about it, they're going to go snitch to YouTube. They snitch to YouTube, and then we got a strike on our channel, and then we can't upload. Many people are looking at us like we're the traitors. Yeah, Kudro's a sellout because he's with those Moors over there from RV Bay Publications and they get people locked up. Find me someone who got locked up that didn't learn their lesson from getting locked up and never got locked up again. Bet you they never got locked up twice. Bet you. If they do like what we said, go to rvbaypublications.com, stay there for a year, 2 years, don't move. I don't care who else is out there. Because if you're a dumb nigger and then you're starting to talk about you're more, you're still a dumb nigger. And you need to detox. You just got a 20-year bid, you're still going to be eating at the table, hogging your food as if you're still in the pen. You're still going to be using the washroom with the door open. Shower with the thing open. Taking your soap, hiding it in the radiator. But you're free. Obviously you're not free. You're still acting like a slave when you're out of the pen. Same thing with this info. Not just gonna say you're a Moor and then you're a Moor. Who told you that? Oh yeah, the guy over there telling you 10 grand and then you can be a Moor tomorrow for your court case. He just robbed you of 10 grand. And guess what? You're not gonna go strangle him for your 10 grand back. Bet you won't. Bet you won't. How are you confused? How come Ontario Court of Justice is not confused? The Kudrow Ado L X relation Kevin McCletchy. How come they're not confused? Why are you confused if the Ontario Court of Justice, who has a building with court going on there, they're not confused? They know exactly what I'm talking about when I said Kudrow L X relation. They know exactly what I'm talking about. And then here you go talking about, but you're confused. How come the transcript's not confused? And that's paper. Paper smarter than you? So you're telling me paper smarter than you? You are a big dummy. Whoever you are, bringing up Kevin McCletchy L as if I'm not gonna talk about it. Are you dumb? How much books did you find under Kevin McCletchy L? Let me ask you that question. How much books did you find under Kevin McCletchy L? I want to know, since you're bringing it up. How many books did you find under that? I want to know. Just give me a number of the books. Give me a number of the books that say Kevin McCletchy L on them. No, don't tell me a couple. Give me the number. Give me the titles. You say you're talking about stuff. Give me the titles. What are the titles of the books that say Kevin McCletchy L on them? That's the question. And the answer should be from 1 to 10 or something like that with the titles. Because books have titles, and you're saying that I wrote books under those names. So what's the books? Give me the name. You must have them in your library if you're talking about them like that. Because if you're going to talk about Amen Ra, Rastafari metaphysics, well, matter of fact, I hope I can't find it. I hope I can't find it. If I find it, you're done for. If I find it, you're done for. You know you're done for if I find it. I'll even do one better. Yeah, that's gonna get hunted. That has to get hunted for. Yeah, that'll have to get hunted for. That would have to get hunted for. Let's just say it's 2 books. Did these two books get released as a different name? Did these 2 books get re-released? And ever since those books, have you seen those books ever come out ever again? Or have you seen other books come out? That published books. If you people out there who are studying don't get that there's sent people to make sure you don't know what's going on, to have you confused, then you're going to stay confused. You better, in your mind, realize that as soon as you step your toe into the Moorish paradigm, here come all these little agents and traders and sellouts and turncoats and everything else that slithers doesn't walk straight, trying to convince you that Canaanland Moors and Kudrow and RV Bay and all the Moors who are active, they get people locked up and you don't want to be a Moor. Because this is your sojourn. Has nothing to do with anybody else. Oh no, the reason why you're an agent is because you're not going to push the link. You rather type in the chat. Because if you were a man or a woman, you would push the link and say what you have to say. But because you're a coward, you're probably an agent. That's why you work with the other side. Right? I hear you going around talking about Eugene Walcott of the Nation of Islam. How come you don't call him Eugene Walcott? And if you call him Eugene Walcott, what's he going to do? But these people think that they're going to play. Like we seen the worst of the worst. All you little slugs coming around right now, you're nobody. Who do you think you are? Think you're stopping something? Moors are on CNN, dumbass. You think you're stopping something? Well, they got arrested because oh yeah? Alright. You keep thinking that. You keep thinking exactly what you're thinking. We're gonna be over here enjoying our life as Moors. You do whatever you want to do.
church say amen type thing right there, and then start complaining about the people who did some damage that you didn't do damage, and they're the ones that are the fallen humanity, but we can't recognize. All right, so I will say this. All this slander that's been going on, you know, at first you know, what the hell is this? You know, these are the days of exposure. Everybody must show their head. Everybody must expose. They're going to raise their head, be it an ugly head or not ugly head. Now let me say this. The Scimitar, if you study Prophet's work, you know the one old Democracy. That is a Scimitar. It is in such a manner that it's like a pendulum. When all you're looking at right now is it, you know, a pendulum comes back this way, right? So the reason why all of a sudden, like in a cluster, like all of this slander, like boom, boom, left, right, all over the place, is because the people have to show their heads. So when the sword comes back, it can cut it off. Because there's no time for anything other than that. Yes, Simon, the Scimitar, if you study Prophet's work, you like the one old Democracy. That is a Scimitar. It is in such a manner that it's like a pendulum. When all you're looking at right now is it, you know, a pendulum comes back this way, right? So the reason why all of a sudden, like in a cluster, like all of this slander, like boom, boom, left, right, all over the place.
Right? Didn't that just happen with Rise of the Moors? Everything's good. They go on the highway, then all of a sudden, all this slander coming from all over the place. You think it's not by design that it's like that? It is not by design that somebody's going to be in our chat, have such an issue with us that they're not going to push the thing and say, hey, this is my issue. Why wouldn't they push the invite and say they have an issue? And then when they do get on here, why do they talk about everything except the subject matter that we're supposed to be talking about? And then nobody looks at them and says, yeah, these guys keep putting children in the van. Nah, we're not going to go over and talk to them. We're just let them keep putting children in the van. And you're standing there. You're just watching them put children in the van. You're saying nothing. And then we're running out pointing at the people putting children in the van and telling us, what is brotherly love? Those are your brothers. Why are you going against your brothers? You shouldn't go against your brothers. Shouldn't go against brothers. And they're pedophiling your children. It's your children's minds they're messing with. And you're going to sit there and let them. Because you're listening to these traders telling you about Drew Ali told you about love and all this stuff when it's Scimitar time for all these people. Body in the trunk, what you going to do? It's Nas and Nori now. It's body in the trunk time now. Because it's just absurd, the level of treason that's going on. That people are allowing because they're sitting back waiting for the Moorish government to do something when they're the government. Go take a Scimitar, take his head. He's a traitor. He's a liar. He's a turncoat. I thought you said this is your nation. I thought Noble Drew Ali said defend this to the utmost of your life. But when we put the Scimitar to them, you're talking, well, no, come on, give him mercy because it's our brothers. Mercy for treason? No wonder our people got nowhere. They given mercy to treasonous. Keep giving mercy to treasonous.
Which means there's a universality there's a universal nature to the common law, common sense, common human development and practice. Therefore, you're not in conflict with others when you're dealing with constitutional principles.
Right.
Because it's based in universal law. So it's not a matter of you sitting, me or someone sitting up here having to interpret about what our beliefs are. It's irrelevant.
That's right.
And it ain't nothing for you to figure out or someone else to figure out if they're dealing in government. So if the people who are part or members of any organized body, of organized governing body or group of people, should know that. It shouldn't be something for them to discover as individuals in their path along the way. It should be told to them by their adept instructors. And if not, they're being cheated. And this is part of the problem that I recognize is wrong with our movement. The movement is, pardon me, I apologize, I'm going to bring that back. It's not the movement, it's the people who've been running it. It should be told to them by their adept instructors. And if not, they're being cheated. And this is part of the problem that I recognize is wrong with our movement. The movement is, pardon me, I apologize, I'm going to bring that back. It's not the movement, it's the people who've been running it.
That's right.
All right, there's nothing wrong with the temple. It's the people who've been running it path along the way. It should be told to them by their adept instructors. And if not, they're being cheated. And this is part of the problem that I recognize is wrong with our movement. The movement is, pardon me, I apologize, I'm going to bring that back. It's not the movement, it's the people who've been running it.
That's right.
All right, there's nothing wrong with the temple. It's the people who've been running it, misrepresenting it. But then if people don't know that the movement was infiltrated, they keep thinking that what it is what the movement is, and logically they're going to have a misjudgment of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's not the movement, it's the people who've been running it.
That's right.
All right, there's nothing wrong with the temple. It's the people who've been running it, misrepresenting it. But then if people don't know that the movement was infiltrated, they keep thinking that what it is what the movement is, and logically they're going to have a misjudgment of the Moorish Science Temple of America based on the misleadership, but they don't know that most of them are COINTELPRO or the persons who were taught by COINTELPRO members who were infiltrated into the movement in order to disrupt the temple. It's the people who've been running it, misrepresenting it. But then if people don't know that the movement was infiltrated, it's not the movement, it's the people who've been running it.
That's right.
All right, there's nothing wrong with the temple. It's the people who've been running it, misrepresenting it. But then if people don't know that the movement was infiltrated, they keep thinking that what it is what the movement is, and logically they're going to have a misjudgment of the Moorish Science Temple of America based on the misleadership, but they don't know that most of them are COINTELPRO or the persons who were taught by COINTELPRO. What it is what the movement is, and logically they're going to have a misjudgment of the Moorish Science Temple of America based on the misleadership, but they don't know that most of them are COINTELPRO or the persons who were taught by COINTELPRO members who were infiltrated into the movement in order to disrupt the movement. So it's like if a person doesn't, it's just like Little Red Riding Hood. If she figured out the wolf, but not from using her common sense, because the wolf was getting ready to eat her. When the real deal, as soon as she seen that the teeth was too big and the nose was too long and the eyes was no other, she should have known from day one that wasn't grandma.
That's right.
She didn't have to go through all this routine of saying, but your nose is too big, your eyes are, by that time, wolf getting ready to eat her. But the real deal is the issue was that she was diverted in the first place, and she shouldn't have been, because if she had paid attention, she wouldn't have been diverted.
That's right.
Right. So it means there's certain fundamental rules. This is what the movement is, and logically they're going to have a misjudgment of the Moorish Science Temple of America based on the misleadership, but they don't know that most of them are COINTELPRO or the persons who were taught by COINTELPRO members. What it is what the movement is, and logically they're going to have a misjudgment of the Moorish Science Temple of America based on the misleadership, but they don't know that most of them are COINTELPRO or the persons who were taught by COINTELPRO members who were infiltrated into the movement in order to disrupt the movement. So it's like if a person doesn't, it's just like Little Red Riding Hood. If she figured out the wolf, but not from using her common sense, because the wolf was getting ready to eat her. When the real deal, as soon as she seen that the teeth was too big and the nose was too long and the eyes was no other, you should have known from day one that wasn't grandma.
That's right.
She didn't have to go through all this routine of saying, but your nose is too big, your eyes are, by that time, wolf getting ready to eat her. But the real deal is the issue was that she was diverted in the first place, and she shouldn't have been, because if she had paid attention, she wouldn't have been diverted.
That's right.
Right. So it means there's certain fundamental rules of order. So he gave us rules and bylaws, except to give you fundamental orders. He tailored the old gospel, all right? Tailored, which means that's not all of it, but many of the texts that was geared to where our sickness was. That what it is what the movement is, and logically they're going to have a misjudgment of the Moorish Science Temple of America based on the misleadership, but they don't know that most of them are COINTELPRO or the persons who were taught by COINTELPRO members who were infiltrated into the movement in order to disrupt the movement. So it's like if a person doesn't, just like, and it's just like Little Red Riding Hood. If she figured out the wolf, but not from using her common sense, because wolf was getting ready to eat her. When the real deal, as soon as she seen that the teeth was too big and the nose was too long and the eyes was no other than you should have known from day one that wasn't grandma.
That's right.
She didn't have to go through all this routine of saying, but your nose is too big, your eyes are, by that time, wolf getting ready to eat her. But the real deal is the issue was that she was diverted in the first place, and she shouldn't have been, because if she had paid attention, she wouldn't have been diverted.
That's right.
Right. So it means there's certain fundamental rules of order. So he gave us rules and bylaws, except to give you fundamental orders. He tailored the old gospel, all right? Tailored, which means that's not all of it, but many of the texts that was geared to where our sickness was, and put it in the Circle 7.
That was our penicillin. That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? And tailored specifically for us. And so the things, the remedies, the medicine that we need is right there. But we let other people distract us, and then also not go into studies for us. And so the things, the remedies, the medicine that we need is right there. But we let other people distract us, and then also, understand what I'm saying, and tailored specifically for us. And so the things, the remedies, the medicine that we need is right there. But we let other people distract us, and then specifically for us. And so the things, the remedies, the medicine that we need is right there. But we let other people distract us for us. And so the things, the remedies, the medicine that we need is right there. But we let other people distract us, and then also not go into studies.
The spirit that you're coming from, and the spirit that the brothers come from, because this is the major thing. How can we apply all this God stuff that we're talking about right now? What can we use? Like the brother was saying, how are you going to feed yourself? This is what, we can talk about what we were in the many names. We know that we were many names. The issue is, what can you apply today that's effective? How are you going to feed yourself? This is what, we can talk about what we were in the many names. We know that we were many names. The issue is, what can you apply today that's effective? Now, the last legal title of these people that are called Negro, Blacks, Colored, Latinos, West Indians, whatever they call themselves this week, is more. That's on the records of the planet, of all the governments on the planet. And like the brother was saying earlier, Masonry is your history going underground. That's why anyone who rules must be a Mason. You need to understand this. It doesn't mean that we're supporting or condemning anything. If you don't understand the logistics of what's running your life right now, you can't fix it. Now, I know that we were called also blackamoors, but black was the adjective and more was the proper noun. Like Dr. Muhammad said, you need to understand etymology. We're saying this, how are you going to feed yourself? This is what, we can talk about what we were in the many names. We know that we were many names. The issue is, what can you apply today that's effective? Now, the last legal title of these people that are called Negro, Blacks, Colored, we were called also blackamoors, but black was the adjective and more was the proper noun. Like Dr. Muhammad said, you need to understand etymology. Now be yourself. The longest running treaty in the world with any nation is a treaty of peace and friendship, Marrakesh. That is what's running this government now. The Constitution for this government of the United States Republic of North America is handed down from Moorish law. That's why the pyramid is on the back of that fiat note. And you're not going to rise politically and economically being other than who your forefathers were. And that's just simply it. No. And you're not going to rise politically and economically being other than who your forefathers were. Is on the back of that fiat note. And you're not going to rise politically and economically being other than who your forefathers were. And that's just simply it. Now, the reason I said this to you, and this is in harmony with what the brother is saying, you know, we don't need to come and know our belief systems. As you can see, every time you get into this God thing, it gets into a whole bunch of generalities and what your idea of it is, and there's a whole bunch of vaguities. Why? Because it is vague. Because the concept is a fraud, and you won't admit the hypocrites that you've been. It is, and there's a whole bunch of vaguities. Why? Because it is vague. Because the concept is a fraud, and you won't admit the hypocrites that you've been. And there's a whole bunch of vaguities. Why? Because it is vague. Because the concept is a fraud, and you won't admit the hypocrites that you've been. It is, and there's a whole bunch of vaguities. Why? Because it is vague. Because the concept is a fraud, and you won't admit the hypocrites that you've been. It is, and there's a whole bunch of vaguities. Why? Because it is vague. Because the concept is a fraud, and you won't admit the hypocrites that you've been. It is, and there's a whole bunch of vaguities. Why? Because it is vague. Because the concept is a fraud, and you won't admit the hypocrites that you've been. This is what I have to say about that whole paradigm. Why are we so blunt? Because we know that people need knowledge to fix things. We don't present a paradigm for followers. I don't like followers. Because we know that people need knowledge to fix things. We don't present a paradigm for followers. I don't like followers. I want equals to come along so we can build something. I don't want dummies. I'm not babysitting anybody. That's for people, grown-ups who need diapers and taffies. I'm not in that business.
So, to sum it up, right?
It's back to what Brother said. Take responsibility. Start reading. Then have an opinion after you've read something.
Because then it's going to become just a pull on his energy.
Because we know that people need knowledge to fix things.